So recently I did an Instagram video where I just wanted to talk about how I love my woman's insecurities. And if I can give you an example, a lot of women think that they need to shave because they think men don't like that. They think the world doesn't like that. And me in particular, one of my favorite things on my woman is her hair. So I don't like her to shave anywhere. I don't want her to shave her underarms. I don't want her to shave her bottom. I don't want her to shave anything for different reasons. But one of the main reasons is because when she's insecure about something, I just love it that much more. Now, the reason that I want to talk to you about this is because I think it's so powerful when it comes to choosing someone and loving someone that it can help you have a better, long-lasting, loving, passionate relationship. Now, I'm not a dating coach. I'm not a love coach. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not any of that. I'm just a person who lives my life. And some people take notice and they may want to incorporate some of the things that I do. But I did happen to do some research that can support my position here. So throughout this video, I'll give you that. And I'm only asking for about 20 minutes of your time, maybe not even. So if you don't have 20 minutes, just come back, but I'd like 20 minutes of your time. Now let's get into the details. I like everything that my woman hates about herself. I love the parts of her that she doesn't want. The hair that she wants to shave off. The natural smell that she wants to wash off. The cellulite she wants to get rid of. Even her mood swings make me want to kiss her. I guess I'm going to call it the little butt theory. The little butt theory that I just made up means that if you're a man who likes butts and the woman that you chose to be with has a little butt, you should be obsessed with her little butt. I'm talking about obsessed. And if you aren't, you can be if you just talk yourself into it. Say it, look at it, and say it again. Don't just say it out loud, say it in your head. I promise you, you will love her little butt. And you don't know how powerful this can make the connection that you guys have. So essentially, don't avoid these things, go towards them. What she is ashamed of should be sacred to you. My woman doesn't have to hide from me in her own home. She doesn't have to walk around with her makeup on and her hair done. She doesn't have to walk around shaved. She knows that I love her as she is. And that should be the type of comfort that you want your woman to have. When a woman feels truly seen in her insecurity and loved anyway, this is when something is going to shift. When a woman is insecure about something, that's her essentially bracing for rejection. Every day that she wakes up and she has that with her skin, her body, her hair, it could be anything. Somewhere in the back of her mind, she's waiting for somebody to confirm that about her. So what changes when you go towards it instead of going away from it? All of that bracing stops, right? That's the first thing. This is where she stops hiding around you. And for me, I love that. I need that. I want all of you. Like I want you in the most raw form of you. I want that because I don't like when people hold back in a relationship with me. I want everything. Now, she's not going to be completely comfortable all at once, but she's going to do it slowly because here's where she's testing whether it's safe or not. And every time you prove that it's safe, she starts to put a little and a little and a little more down. Then eventually she stops performing. When she stops performing, she's going to replace that with something that's much more intimate. And intimacy is my thing with a partner. Like the highest level of intimacy is what I'm interested in. Whatever that is, give that to me. That's what I'm in search of. And that's also the version of you that I want to fall in love with, the real you. And this is what I think is one of the most powerful parts here. Her relationship with herself starts to change. When a person whose opinion matters the most to you sees something you hate about yourself and responds with love, it's going to become really hard to keep hating it. At this point, you're going to be reshaping how she sees herself. She starts to look at that thing differently because she doesn't see it through her eyes anymore. She sees it through your eyes and your lens. That's you removing years of insecurity. And finally, she's going to stop waiting on you to leave. A lot of women who carry deep insecurity are always half expecting a relationship to end. They think eventually you're going to realize that you can do better. Find somebody without that flaw and move on. But when you love her insecurity specifically, you remove that out of her mind. She stops counting down and starts settling in with you. And that's what's going to allow a woman to love you back with her full chest. And that's it, right? It's not that she feels prettier. In reality, listen to me, it's the big one. She feels safe. And a woman who feels safe with you gets to show you the version of herself that nobody else has ever seen. And that's what I want. Let's go deeper into the little butt theory, which is mine. It's mine. Most men think that they can't help attraction, right? Like it just is what it is. You got it or you don't. They get lucky and a woman happens to check all of your boxes. Somewhere in the back of your mind, you make peace with the fact that she doesn't. And the second situation, that's what most people call settling, right? And that's just the reality of adult relationships. But when you frame it that way, it leaves out an entire option that you just didn't know about. And that option is that attraction can be partly a decision that you make. Now ask yourself this, right? There are tons of people in all different societies who are attracted to different things. Why do you think that? Because based on where you live, you probably grew up with a certain programming. So certain places like bigger women, other places like smaller women, other places like curvy women, other places like women straight up and down. Some places like certain hair types and other places like others. That just tells you that all of it is programming. So why not program yourself to love what you have and what you've chosen? So this is what you're going to do, right? You're going to pay attention to what she hides from you. You might not even be watching close enough to notice, but if you've been together for a minute, you probably already know. If she covers her stomach when she sits down, maybe she angles her face a certain way in pictures, maybe she jokes about herself yourself before somebody else can. So these are all different signals that you can take note of. And this is where you go towards it physically and verbally. Now, you don't just comment on it. I want you to actually engage with it. Kiss the right spots. Touch the things that she tense up at. Tell her like, yo, I love this. But don't just give like a general, like, no, say really like, yo, I love this about you. This is where you have the internal conversation. You catch yourself when you feel like you're treating something as a concession. You direct that, right? You tell yourself that this is your woman, right? She's yours. And that this is beautiful because it's hers, right? You're going to tell yourself that anything on her is beautiful because it's hers. Just do this repeatedly and I promise you it's going to stop feeling like effort. I don't know which guys do this, but if you are one of the guys who do this, this is what you need to stop, right? Stop privately comparing her to other women. So in your mind, every comparison you building a case up against her. So we're not going to do that no more. What you feed your mind is going to grow, so we're going to stop feeding the wrong thing. And you're going to trust the process, right? Where we are rewiring our brain here. And I'll tell you a story, but don't tell nobody because it sounds like nasty. But like I really obsess over my woman to the degree of she can fart around me if she wants to. But I take it a step further. I prefer her fart around me because she's mine. And them farts is mine too. But like any other woman, she don't like that. She thinks her farts are gross, so she hides them from me. And you just end up wondering like, yo, why this person don't fart? Like people fart. Like, why don't you fart, right? It's because she always hiding it. And it's been a difference over the years. Now, it took this girl 6 years to fart around me. Well, I'm not gonna say 6 years because I wasn't trying to tell her like, yo, you can fart around me that early, but let's say 3 years. It took her 3 years to feel comfortable enough around her man to fart. And she's still not even really comfortable. But that's because that's a big one. But she don't shave when I don't want her to. By this point, she's extremely comfortable without shaving. She's extremely comfortable walking around just being herself. And it's not just me, but I think data says that this is going to give you a really strong, lasting relationship. Now let's dig into the data, right? So research from Yale shows that insecurity about a partner's acceptance predicts behavior independent of self-esteem, right? Meaning even a confident woman can feel insecure specifically with you, which means you can do matters enormously, right? More than her baseline confidence. Studies show that women who imagine receiving a specific compliment about their physical appearance from their partner felt more accepted and were less afraid of being abandoned or rejected. Specific beats general every time. Weight criticisms between partners is consistently linked to lower relationship satisfaction, less sexual intimacy, less relationship stability, and worse communication during conflict. The opposite of what you're doing has measurable damage. A study of 53 recently married couples found that women's body image predicted sexual frequency, which then predicted both sexual and marital satisfaction for both partners. When she feels good in her body with you, everybody wins. Research shows that poor body image leads to less sexual desire, diminished frequency, fewer orgasms, and a reluctance to communicate desires or experiment. Her insecurity isn't just an emotional issue, it has real physical consequences in a relationship. When a woman is dissatisfied with her body, her partner may interpret that as dissatisfaction with the relationship itself, creating a vicious cycle. You loving her insecurities breaks that cycle before it starts. Now let's really get into the science, right? Neuroplasticity research shows that the brain's attraction template is not fixed. It was built through accumulated experiences and can be rebuilt through new experiences. The brain's reward circuits do not operate on permanent settings. They update based on what consistently produces genuine satisfaction. As a relationship matures, oxytocin gradually assumes the primary neurochemical role. The subjective experience shifts from passionate intensity to deep security, from urgent wanting to comfortable belonging. What replaces the early spark is actually deeper, not lesser. Brain research shows that people in committed relationships actually implicitly devalue the attractiveness of outside alternatives. The brain rewires itself to protect the bond. Your mind is already doing this naturally. You're just doing it consciously and intentionally. Creates a virtuous cycle. Intimate behaviors increase oxytocin, which enhances feeling of connection, which motivates more intimate behaviors. Partners who regularly engage in these activities report greater relationship satisfaction and emotional closeness. Every time you kiss her acne, you are literally triggering this cycle. Now, this might be the most powerful data point here. Couples with the highest oxytocin levels were the ones who still were together 6 months later. They finished each other's sentences, they laughed together, and touched each other more often. Oxytocin predicted the likelihood of relationship success independently of sex, length of a relationship, and the partner's own oxytocin levels. The simple version is, every time you touch her with love, especially in the places she's insecure about, you are chemically building a bond that keeps the relationship together. So I hope this video helped somebody. And if it didn't necessarily help anybody, I hope that it gives you a little bit more detail about me and how I go about my relationship. Because for so long, at least on social media, things just looked a little bit superficial. But I don't consider myself a content creator. I'm just a guy who likes to record stuff. I'm recording things that are real, recording things that are happening, and I post it on my social media. One day I might be a content creator, but right now I don't consider myself to be that. So I hope y'all subscribe and start to really, be a part of what I'm building here.